Tonight is a new episode of AEW Dynamite on TBS. Next week, it is AEW Blood and Guts featuring both a men's Blood and Guts match and also a women's Blood and Guts match. In addition to that, we're getting closer to AEW Full Gear at the end of this month as one of AEW's final pay-per-views of the year takes place. With all that being said, with all that coming up in the future, could Tony Khan and his creative team have some major surprises up their sleeve? In this countdown video, we're going to let you know 5 possible major surprises that could take place tonight live on AEW Dynamite. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. And tonight, it's another episode of AEW Dynamite on TBS. Also, of course, streaming live in a simulcast on HBO Max. And it's going to be taking place at the Bio Music Center in Houston, Texas. And as I said in the intro, we're just 1 week away from AEW Blood and Guts, a special edition of AEW Dynamite. It's going to be a jam-packed show featuring for the first time ever both men's and women's Blood and Guts matches. And in addition to that, later on this month, we've got AEW Full Gear. So there's plenty that AEW is trying to set the stage for as we get to these big events. That being said, what could possibly be a major surprise tonight live on AEW Dynamite? Let's get into it, beginning with Samoa Joe, Hangman Adam Page. Their rivalry is getting more personal and more vicious every single week. And tonight on AEW Dynamite, they are going to be facing off and be sharing the same ring at the same time. Now, after last week's conclusion to Dynamite, which did have a lot of people talking, the shocking transformation into Tony Schiavone on last week's Fright Night edition of AEW Dynamite, the AEW World Champion Hangman Adam Page will hopefully show up as himself, unless he becomes a bit of a chameleon-like figure, and team with not only Eddie Kingston but also Hook to face off against the AEW World Trios champions, the Ops. Of course, there is absolutely no love lost between Page and the Ops, especially after he pulled the wool over their eyes last week with his disguise as the AEW commentator. Joe, meanwhile, last week earned a rematch for the AEW World Championship at AEW Full Gear later on this month, and he's going to be on the lookout for revenge against the champion. The Ops are certainly a well-oiled machine, the AEW World Trios champions, with a proven record of success when teaming, while Hangman, Hook, and Kingston have never teamed together. Who's going to emerge victorious? So there's lots of different, plot points that they're certainly going to be playing off here. I think in this one this evening, I wouldn't be shocked if Samoa Joe picks up a pinfall victory, or maybe even he chokes out Hangman Adam Page. I mean, I mentioned this on last week's Dynamite surprise video, that I felt that they were going to continue to go with the Samoa Joe Hangman Page feud going into AEW Full Gear, of course, coming out of the match at Wrestle Dream. I felt that that's where they were going to go, because you have to have something extra. If you've already faced off in a pay-per-view main event for the AEW World Championship and your champion's retained, where do you go from there? Do you just have another match? Why? How did they get there? So to continue that story, they've had the Joe heel turn, the Ops heel turn, and they're adding a little bit of something to it, but they still need to, I think, sell that main event more in the sense of going, look, where's the jeopardy? Could Joe become a 2-time AEW World Champion? He's facing a 2-time AEW World Champion, and it has him reverting to a more heel character worked out best for him, because it's making him actually now defeat Hangman Adam Page. It's going to be interesting to see if that's the direction that they're going to go in. So they're going to be sharing the ring this evening. I think we end up with the Ops win, because they should. They're the more well-oiled machine. They are the AEW World Trios champions. They should win that match. You could have a situation, I suppose, where Kingston or Hook takes the fall, but I think in this one, the story gets progressed more if Joe chokes out Hangman. So I think that's the direction that they could be going this evening. And before we move on to the next number on this countdown list, a reminder that this video is brought to you in collaboration with all of our great affiliates. That includes NordVPN. You can see them right there in the sidebar. You can get up to 77% off plus 3 months extra. All you've got to do is scan that QR code or click our custom link. That's nordvpn.com/WN365. Once again, nordvpn.com/WN365. Now, I talk to you so often about what you can get with a VPN when it comes to your WWE content, and you can get a lot. But also when it comes to AEW content, you can get a lot if you switch your location to an international territory like here in the UK as well. Over here, you can watch AEW content on Triller TV as part of your AEW Plus subscription. It's like $4.99 a month. It's nothing. In addition to that, you can watch live episodes of Dynamite, live episodes of AEW Collision, the entire back catalogue of every episode of Dynamite, every episode of AEW Collision, every episode of AEW Rampage, every episode of Dark Elevation. It's all there on Triller TV. In addition to that, a back catalogue of a bunch of pay-per-views as well. And as I mentioned, you get your value for money. I bought the last 2 pay-per-views of the year in a combo pack that was discounted. So if you can change your location somewhere like here in the UK, but with a VPN, you save yourself some money and you support the channel in the process. So use our link. It is much appreciated. Let's move back on to number 2 on the countdown list. And the AEW Women's Tag Team Title Tournament will be continuing. And we're going to get maybe a bit of a closer look as to who possibly is going to be the inaugural champions. Because in a, I guess some would describe it as a dream team of 2 of AEW's most decorated stars, TBS champion, among other titles she holds outside of AEW, and Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, Athena, will be making their debut in the inaugural AEW Women's World Tag Team Championship Tournament. So yes, TBS champion Mercedes Moné and Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Athena, they're going to be in a quarter-final match against the Babes of Wrath in Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale. Opponents, of course, both women will be familiar with. Now, last week, Moné and Athena got the better of Moné's Full Gear opponent, AEW Women's World Champion Chris Statlander, before Cameron and Nightingale ran out to make the save. So the question is, can Cameron and Nightingale fend them off once more? Also, with Moné involved in Blood and Guts next week, going after the tag titles and juggling 12 bouts, is she stretching herself too thin? This is an interesting one. You would think with the star power of Mercedes Moné and Athena, and what they've obviously achieved in AEW / Ring of Honor, that they would be the ones that would probably be the favorites to win this. Again, it depends where they want to go. You can have a situation, I suppose, of, you know, Mercedes is getting all of these titles and she wants to go after the AEW Women's World Tag titles, and she's going to be going after the AEW Women's World Championship at Full Gear, and she's got the TBS title. I still think that they win this match, but I do think you're going to probably see some involvement with Chris Statlander maybe getting involved or something like that. But I think that Moné and Athena win this one. As far as do they become the inaugural Women's Tag Team Champions? I don't think so. I don't think they go all the way in the tournament, because I do like the idea, as I mentioned last week, of a team like a Julia Hart and Sky Blue, who are an actual tag team. They've been teaming together for a long time. They've got a history. They're part of a faction. I would prefer it to be that. So I don't think that Moné and Athena go all the way in the tournament, but I think they could get a victory this evening that could put them on their way. Next up, Blood and Guts. The rest of this video is really going to be talking about a lot of Blood and Guts, which of course is AEW's version of War Games. Interestingly, do you remember why the match is called Blood and Guts? Let me know in the comment section below. If you've got this far in the video, let me know if you know why these matches are called Blood and Guts. But there is going to be, for the first time ever, a women's Blood and Guts match as well as a men's Blood and Guts match that's taking place next week. So with that big event taking place, we're going to be having this kind of best of 3 series in both of these matches. So to determine which team will enter first in Blood and Guts, representatives of each team will go head-to-head in singles action, and the first team to pick up the 2 wins will win the advantage. So it's going to be a best of 3 series. Now, for the Women's Blood and Guts advantage, we're going to be having Queen Aminata and Megan Bayne facing off tonight on AEW Dynamite in Match 1. Match 2 is set for Collision, as Jamie Hayter has a rematch with the Triangle of Madness's Sky Blue. Harley Cameron and Tekla will also wrestle on Collision if a Match 3 is needed. So we're going to be getting just the one best of 3 matches tonight on AEW Dynamite for the Women's Blood and Guts match with Queen Aminata and Megan Bayne facing off. Again, these are kind of like mini tournaments, so you have to kind of maybe think 2 or 3 results ahead when you're kind of trying to predict what's going to happen, who's going to go where. I think that Megan Bayne wins this one against Queen Aminata tonight. The reason I say that is because AEW has been very, I think, smart and very clever when it comes to her booking and trying to protect her as much as possible. I mean, they had her on a winning streak. The only person I think's actually been able to pin her is Timeless Tony Storm when Megan Bayne challenged for the championship back at, I think it was Dynasty. So they've been very protective of that. I'm actually a very big fan of Queen Aminata as well. I've really enjoyed the matches that she's had with Tekla. They've been really hard-hitting and actually really impressive matches. But I think that Megan Bayne, she picks up the victory for her team tonight on Dynamite. And then you go into Collision. I think you probably have Jamie Hayter go over Sky Blue. And then that means you're going to be going to a match 3. And I think you probably have Tekla end up winning that one, I think, most likely. So that's kind of the direction it goes in. So I think the heels in the Women's War Games match, they start off victorious this evening. And I think actually they'll have the advantage going into next week. Now, it's not just, as mentioned, the Women's War Games match. There is also the Men's War Games match taking place. And we're going to be having the exact same formula on Dynamite this evening as the Women's with this best of 3 series. So on the men's side of thing, the Conglomeration's Orange Cassidy will wrestle the Death Riders' Claudio Castagnoli in match 1. Match 2 will feature Darby Allin versus Daniel Garcia. If a third match is needed as a tiebreaker, Roderick Strong will battle Jon Moxley on AEW Collision. So we're going to be having 2 of these best of 3 matches, and theoretically it could be could be completely tied up before we even get to till we get to Collision on Saturday. I think that, again, I'm looking at the different way this could go here. I think we probably have Darby Allin. I don't think will do the job to Daniel Garcia, so I think Darby Allin defeats Daniel Garcia. And then I think that means that Claudio Castagnoli defeats Orange Cassidy. And then that, of course, leads to a match on AEW Collision, because more often than not, if Jon Moxley's advertised to wrestle, he probably will. So I think Moxley then wins on AEW Collision, which means the heels get the advantage. I think that's the way that one is going to go, which again moves me on to the final one, which is we're going to be getting a third match in all of these, in both of them. Specifically here, I think the men's, like as I've said, I think with Jon Moxley, when Moxley's advertised, and also, you know, Moxley versus Roderick Strong is a very Tony Khan match, isn't it? It's a match that he'd be very happy to book. So I think both matches will go to the necessary third, particularly in the men's one, with Moxley winning the decider, and meaning that the heels will get the advantage in War Games, in Blood and Guts, which I think would mean, in terms of my predictions, that means that actually both the heels and both the men's and women's War Games match will be getting the advantage next week. Will it be interesting to see if indeed it does work out for them? So there you go, guys. There are 5 possible major surprises that could take place tonight live on AEW Dynamite. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? What are your hot takes? Let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comment section below. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Use our NordVPN link, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.